I find it necessary to publicly respond to the recent spikes in violence in our city, as well as call on our citizens who reside in those neighborhoods and across our city to assist us in our efforts to reduce these acts of violence. Let me be clear, most, if not all, of these acts of violence are being carried out by individuals who are engaged in criminal activities of some kind and who are fighting amongst themselves. Unfortunately, using firearms to settle these beefs or confrontations put innocent people, families, and children in harm's way and at terrible risk. Let me be perfectly clear, therefore. We will do everything and anything necessary to remove these violent acts by these violent offenders and to get them off of our streets and to keep our city safe. Our resolve will include, but is not limited to, working with the several multiple agencies in the law enforcement community. Also, let me be clear that the city currently spends about $60,000 in police overtime pay. That's why the auditor's here with me. Today I'll be asking the city auditor to provide an extra $40,000 in police overtime budget to increase the police presence in our neighborhoods in our city. And I'll also be asking council to approve the expenditures of over $236,000 for police equipment. I've been on the scene of several incidents in the past few weeks where these incidents have occurred. And I've had the opportunity to talk with many of the neighbors, families, some of the elderly people. And I can tell you, their primary concern is that of their children and the young people and the elderly in that community who live in these neighborhoods. And I'll say it once and I've said it many times after this. They're not interested in excuses or reasons. They're interested in results. And we're going to do everything possible, everything within our viscera, within our resources, to make sure that they get the results that they deserve and that they pay for. Right now, because these incidents have happened pretty shortly over this last morning, I'm not going to give any particulars. I'll leave that to the police chief to answer any questions, because we don't want to compromise any current investigations that are ongoing. But I have to say this, from our prosecutor's office to our command staff, the police chief, our patrolmen, detective units, street crime units, they're doing a great job, and they're working very hard to help us keep our city safe. And I want to thank them for their work. And you can be sure that they'll continue to work hard to remove this cloud from our city at this time. Most of our citizens are good, law-abiding citizens, and they respect the law, and they respect law enforcement authority. This is just a group of individuals who engage in activities, criminal most of the time, but our resolve is to get them off of our streets and to keep all of our good citizens safe in the city of Warren. Thank you very much, and I want to thank the auditor as well, and the police chief, and Lieutenant Jeff Cole as well, and the law director and the safety service director. This time we'll take any questions you might have. If anybody wanted to give a statement, we welcome the chief.
Fine. Do you want to answer questions first? Or?
Yeah, if you want to say something.
I just want to address the recent shooting that we had on South Feederly. That was an isolated incident there with those two individuals. We believe it was an argument over property. This shooting incident is a shining example of how we would like the community and police to relate with each other when it comes to solving crime. Our road officers arrived there, and our detectives showed up shortly thereafter, received all the information that we needed from the public while we were out there. Within a few hours, we've issued a felonious assault warrant for Mr. Daniel Chips. He's a 32-year-old white male, and we're actively searching for him right now. That's how we would love things to happen. The opposite of that is what we had down in the Fairview Gardens. We believe there was dozens of witnesses out there. Close to 80 rounds were fired, and we've got very little cooperation. We need the public's help to solve crime. That's the bottom line. Without the public's help, it's going to take us a lot longer to investigate these cases and potentially not have a successful resolution to it. So we encourage everybody. There's so many avenues to get us confidential information. There's Crime Stoppers. We have an anonymous tip line. I've received letters in the mail from time to time. You can give us information without anybody knowing who you are. I mean, I want to get that out there right now. We want to see things resolved in the manner that we did over on South Feederly with community police cooperation. Mr. Chips is no stranger to the police department. He's been booked into the Trumbull County Jail on multiple occasions. As the mayor said, a lot of these are not, the victim knows the suspect. We know, as soon as we hear something happen, we know who these people are as soon as we get the call on it. So there aren't a lot of innocent people out there just getting randomly involved in crime, per se. These people know each other. They're often criminals involved in criminal activity.